Today, I, James,
And I, Brandon.
sit here in mourning over the Electronic Something Expo. I
The
always forget.
E3. I thought it was just three.
No, it's
The
Electronic
Electronic 3.
Something Expo.
There's three E's?
Yeah, there's three E's.
E3. Hi. Welcome to 2023.
Wow, Brandon is just learning new things
Fucking
every
no,
time.
man.
Every time we're on a segment together. First, it was the Dreamcast price.
I just want everyone to know. E3, which I just learned stands for three E's, is no more.
Yeah, it is. It has been canned as of maybe like a week ago.
Poof. They just.
It's-
Merry
yeah.
Christmas.
Yay!
You're getting nothing. Now, with this being said, though, is this because kind of PlayStation and
Yeah,
Xbox do their own things now?
the news came after the 2023 E3 got canned because Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all pulled out.
Well, because they all have their own events now that announce these things.
It's a lot more lucrative for them to just do the directs or the announcements or whatever the PlayStation one is.
You know what? This goes into the same thing as like being a fan of Marvel and experiencing that like superhero fatigue. It's like the things we've wanted the most end up being the reason they're not the same anymore. And it's like you've always wanted all this video game stuff, and now the companies are like, yeah, but we'll just do it on our own. I don't need this platform.
And make
we have
more
our
money
own
that way.
Exactly. So,
which is unfortunate because it's like E3, the early days of all access E3 was so much fun because
it was nuts. I mean,
they just went all out.
And it was like they wanted to get stuff in people's hands for hype and all this other stuff. And now it's just trailers and I mean, which, still getting me hype, but
exactly. Like I remember 2017, the year the Switch was announced. That was one of the biggest years for E3 because you had Nintendo
and that was
with this whole
big
exhibit.
Announcement. Yeah.
And then you also had the other competitors still having to really push themselves forward so they could still be relevant with Nintendo's huge next console announcement.
I mean, and truth be told, that regardless of your opinion of the Switch on quality or anything like that, that is the first step in what everybody wants gaming to be.
Exactly. And it wasn't groundbreaking. It was earth-shattering relative to the gaming industry. You had this console that you could pick up and play in your hands and then play on the TV.
Oh, and I mean,
and you could take it anywhere.
I still sometimes, especially with Pokemon, will play that on my TV just because my entire life it has been a 3x3 square,
a gray brick.
Yeah, like seriously. I mean, it was that for how long? And I mean, even with the DS and all those, like it was fun. But the fact that I could finally play it on my television was such a I was just like, holy shit! Like this is so cool.
The Switch revolutionized gaming, and a lot of people don't want to give it credit because of like the graphics look bad or it's Nintendo.
Yeah, but
and it's like
star. Either way, hold on.
It did what Sony and Microsoft never could because they were so focused on pushing forward in graphical advancements and whatnot. Nintendo was just like, haha, funny.
Like you can take this anywhere you go.
Yeah, and that's what was so awesome about E3.
And we're gonna put all your old favorite video games.
Exactly, and that's what's awesome about E3 is that it forced competitors to really think about not just how can we improve the specs. If there's a PS5 right here, you won't be able to see it, but how can we improve the specs of a console like the PS5, and instead focus on how can we make this more inclusive, or how can we advance this technology to something that's never been done before. And that's what was always so fun about E3 was every year wasn't just what's the new console in the lineup, it's how will the PS2 outdo the PS1? How will the PS3 outdo the PS2? How will the Wii outdo the GameCube?
Well,
and
it's
stuff
just,
like that.
I think it's fun too. Like E3, it's like it was Comic-Con for video games, and it was cool because you got to go and you got to experience a little bit of everything. And now everything's just kind of becoming its own summit. And but I mean, like I said, the more we want something, the more it ends up changing it in the end, and just something else that's added to the list.
Yep. Do you have any favorite E3 memories?
Honestly, I never got to go, but I can remember. Like, I think the Switch was E3 was always something I checked in on just to see like what new games got announced. But I can remember like when the Switch came out and just trying to get as much info as I could on this thing. Because they didn't just come out and tell you everything immediately. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna miss having that, because the other thing too is now it's like PlayStation's doing their thing, Xbox is doing their thing. I miss like that Comic-Con weekend of just like, here comes all this fucking news at once, and I cannot wait to just like watch everything. So I'm gonna miss that aspect of E3.
Very much so. I feel that. It's
You?
myself, I always love referencing this story because I think it is one of the most baller moments in gaming history ever. As I told Brandon before once, Sega was announcing the price for their most recent console, the Dreamcast, and their sales representative said the Sega Dreamcast will be priced at $399. And they had given this whole spiel about
I blocked all that out.
they had given a whole spiel about how it performed and whatnot. It was like this long-winded, I think 30-40 minute presentation of the Dreamcast. And then the Sony sales rep for the PlayStation walks up, no slides, nothing, and just goes $299 and walks off.
You kind of just like, fuck. Like, well,
They didn't even have to say anything. They just announced
we're gonna
the
have an
price.
open world Sonic game,
Yeah, that means jack
guys.
shit.
Hello.
Like Sony.
Why
knew,
is everyone walking away?
And the best part is that came from the fact that Nintendo decided to screw over Sony, and it's just like they knew they had gold on their hands.
Yeah.
And they just rolled with it. And I love referencing that so much because it's such a baller moment.
Did you guys know that the Dreamcast was $400? I really want to go back in time and see like the sales pitch I gave for the Dreamcast, because like I can't imagine my parents not looking at a Dreamcast and a PlayStation, not knowing the difference between the two, and going with the more expensive one just because I was like, I didn't know any of the games. I saw a commercial somewhere. I don't know. I wild to me that I didn't end up with the PlayStation at the time.
Welcome to Brandon continues to contend with the fact that the Dreamcast was $400.
I still can't believe the Dreamcast was $400. That is just insane to me. And what year did it come out?
Was it 2000? No, it must have been 99, 98.
Was it before?
No, when was the Dreamcast?
It was PlayStation, same year.
I thought the
That was like
PlayStation.
95.
No,
What?
I think the Dreamcast was a year before.
Because it was 95, 96 when PlayStation was out.
When did the
Maybe
Xbox come
97.
out? Which came out first, PlayStation or
No,
Xbox?
the PlayStation had to have come out in 95, 96.
Xbox came out in 96, 97 because I was watching that announcement when Bill Gates comes out and goes, and the Xbox. We're like, it looks, your emblem looks like a vagina.
That's
another good one.
oh man.
God, remember the original a Xbox controller, like the Duke? That was like a fat hunk of garbage.
Oh my god, I haven't thought about that in so long.
And then the Wavebird, like one of the original
hold on,
GameCube
I gotta
controller
look that one up
designs.
because that was
Oh god,
that
the boomerang.
was
No, that was one of the PlayStation controller. No, that was one of the Xbox ones. It was the boomerang. It looked like a freaking
yeah, because it
boomerang.
looked like the front of the it looked like an X. It looked like
exactly.
wow, that was ugly
Oh.
ass shit.
God, they had to go through a few designs to make sure things were okay.
Man, that was you just
And that-
unlocked some shit in my brain.
That was another fun part of E3 is just innovating and the fans being like, "That's garbage. Please fix that."
Huh. Well, E3, you're added to the lore of nerdom forever, and you will be missed.